Welcome inside your first lesson. Let's start by talking about mindfulness and what it's not. Many people have ideas about mindfulness, and there's a lot of misconceptions. First of all, mindfulness does not mean to relax. This might sound strange because many people associate meditation and mindfulness with relaxation. And although you can feel relaxed and become relaxed, relaxation is more like a byproduct. It's also not a religious thing. Although it's rooted in Buddhism, mindfulness is not a religion. Some people believe mindfulness is a way to change thoughts or to not think anymore. But mindfulness has nothing to do with not thinking anymore or changing thoughts. Some people believe it's difficult. They've heard all these stories about people taking 10,000 hours of meditation experience to reach a higher extension. But as you'll learn in this course, that's not true. That said, it's also not easy, and that's because most of us are very busy and preoccupied with the past or the future, so we have a hard time focusing on this moment. Some people believe that mindfulness is all about being here, right now, only. But that's undoable. You have to make plans. Mindfulness is not a way to not be concerned about the future. It's a way to create a balance between the present moment, the past, and the future. So, what is mindfulness? Well, it's popular. You see it on the cover of books and magazines everywhere you go. It's also popular in science. There are thousands of publications to be able to validate its benefits, and it's popular in clinical practice. By definition, you could say that mindfulness is keeping one's complete attention to the experience on a moment by moment basis in an open and non judgmental way. Let's break down the 5 core components. The first is attention, the second is open awareness, the third is acceptance, the fourth is identification, and the fifth is about choice. So let's start with attention. In mindfulness, attention is paid to what occurs at this moment, and it doesn't matter whether it's an internal feeling or something external, a thought, a physical sensation, feelings, whatever it is, it's whatever is happening right here, right now. The second is open awareness. Open awareness means that rather than being judgmental and judging everything within ourselves and outside of ourselves, mindfulness creates a mindset that aims to increase awareness of the judgment by looking at things in a fresh and new way, rather than in a way that's been influenced by all kinds of beliefs and old viewpoints that we have had about things. Look, our mind automatically judges everyone and everything around us. We don't like their shoes. We don't like the weather. This went wrong. That went well. I'm good. They're not good. We're constantly looking at reality through a lens of judgment, and judgment is a way of labeling things. And in itself, there's nothing wrong with judgments. But when we are unaware of the fact that a judgment is subjective, we confuse reality with the judgment that we have about reality. Mindfulness is all about becoming aware of this process. It ultimately helps you let go of labels and judgment and connect to reality in a more open and non judgmental way. The third component is acceptance. Acceptance has everything to do with accepting the current experience. In mindfulness, rather than fighting experiences or trying to change them, you allow yourself to experience what is happening right here and right now. If you feel sad or angry, you allow yourself to feel those feelings rather than pushing them away or trying to manipulate or change them. You could say that not wanting certain bad feelings to be present can be a form of struggle because we don't want reality to be as it is. In contrast, mindfulness is about accepting reality, accepting what is happening right here, right now. And it's important to know that acceptance has nothing to do with accepting just everything that happens. When somebody wrongfully accuses you, mindfulness doesn't tell you to accept this accusation. Mindfulness tells you to accept the fear or the anger that emerges from you as a result of this accusation. The fourth component is identification, and specifically, no identification. When you consider the idea of acceptance, you may say, well, if I accept my anger, when somebody offends me, then I might just hit something or someone. And in mindfulness, it's about becoming aware that there's a difference between what you're feeling and thinking and you. You are the one that observes the thought or the feeling. You are not the emotion, the feeling, or the thought that emerges. If I experience sadness, then I am experiencing sadness versus I am sad. When you state I experience sadness, there is an observer in there. I experience some type of sadness. This is an observer, someone who notices the state of sadness. It's a kind of detachment. In contrast, when you say, I am sad, it means there's no difference between you and the sadness anymore. They're fused. And when we get identified with emotion, it means that this emotion takes over our behavior. Like I said before, if I get identified with my anger, I might hit somebody or something and I might start shouting. And afterwards, I'll say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean what I said. I was angry. My anger took over. This is what we mean by identification. And the same applies to thoughts. When we identify with thoughts, it means we take our thoughts very seriously. It means we believe everything we think and that our thoughts become some kind of objective truth. By practicing mindfulness, you learn that not everything you think is true. Personally, this was a big revelation to me. As silly as it may sound, once you start to learn and observe thoughts, you start to see that thoughts are just thoughts. They can be compared to clouds just passing by. The last component is choice. When we focus on allowing ourselves to experience emotions, accept them, and observe them, we gain distance from them without letting them take over. Mindful awareness creates a pause between what is happening at this moment and your impulse to do something, like hitting somebody or something because of your anger. What you will eventually do, hitting somebody or not, becomes the result of a conscious choice. Mindfulness, you could say, creates choices, and these choices are freedom. This is the big difference between conscious and automatic behavior. Our impulses guided by automatic behavior and conscious behavior is mindful behavior guided by awareness. This is something we will devote a lot of time to in the next lesson. So those are the 5 key components of mindfulness. And maybe after hearing them, you think, oh, mindfulness sounds pretty easy. Or maybe after hearing them, you think, oh my gosh, this mindfulness does not sound that easy. Either way, my advice is just fall in love with the process, not the goal. And in the next lesson, we're going to explore the role of the now in mindfulness. Be on the lookout tomorrow for lesson 2 delivered into your inbox.